Hey, what's up guys? This is my first video on YouTube, and today I'm just going to be discussing the recent events and occurrences in UFC. Tonight is, I guess it's July 7th. This is just recently after the UFC 239. And I just want to discuss what possibilities are next for each fighters and some suggestions, or if you guys agree with me or you don't agree with me, I'd love to hear it. So first I'll start out with Michael Chiesa. I think that, obviously this looks like it's his weight, the 155. He looked a little scrawny and got bullied around by the bigger guys. No offense to him, he's always been a great fighter, but I think his game's the next level at 170. You know what I'd love to see for him next is a rematch with Kevin Lee. I think the rematch with Kevin Lee makes complete sense with Lee coming off the loss. I think that would flow nicely, and I think he'd like to have that one back. For Sanchez, I think Dana White in the post-conference interview, he said that Dago's been around for a long time. I think he can kind of call his shot and get somebody to fight. Maybe not as high in talent, but somebody. His victory over McGill is very impressive. I'm still impressed that he did pull that off. So next on the card, we'll do Luke Rockhold. I think it's time for Luke Rockhold to retire. I think ever since he lost to Bisping, his chin was cracked. So coming off the two recent knockouts, for Yoel and Blachowicz there, I think it kind of put the end to him, and I think he should just go ahead and retire. He's got another career. Next we have Blachowicz. He's kind of a new face on the scene. He's been around for a while, but he just recently lost to Santos. So next for him, I'm really not sure. You've got up-and-coming fighters. Maybe you put him versus Johnny Walker to determine the next title fight. That would probably be a good idea. That way you could figure out, who's fighting who, and I definitely think that would solidify Walker if he's good enough to fight Jones, or if Blachowicz actually deserves the title shot. So that's a suggestion for that. So next you have, probably the biggest and most talked about event on the card, which was Masvidal versus Askren. So Masvidal, I think the perfect and ideal world for Masvidal, he wants the title shot, but he won't get it likely. I say he fights Rafael dos Anjos next. And I think that's a good fight. I'm going to be unbiased. I'm not going to tell you who would want to win or anything like that. So I think that'd be a great fight to see. Two great competitors, two great athletes fighting. For Askren, I think Askren's done, personally, because one, who would he fight next? And two, I think that his only goal in the UFC was to win gold, and that doesn't look very possible now due to that recent KO or loss, which is pretty vicious. So yeah. Next we have Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm. I think Holly Holm either retires or she gets another fight. There's a few people in there that are kind of worthy. Tatiana Suarez. Actually, she could be a weight lower, but I'm not sure. Then you got Amanda Nunes, which is a rematch with Cyborg, is what she wants, but I heard Cyborg doesn't really want that. But there's always somebody else that she could fight, and I'm pulling that from Dana White. But you're right, she's kind of a question, because just like all the other divisions, there's like a champion, and then you really don't know who she's gonna fight. So yeah. Lastly, you got John Jones and Thiago Santos. So Santos, I honestly think that was a very close fight. I had Santos winning 3-2 on that card, which is debatable to everybody. Other people watch the fights have their own opinion. So, if you guys have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. It's always good to hear other people. Other people's opinions. So I personally would like to see a rematch between them. I think that the injury kind of altered his ability to fight, but although I think he had some power, and I think John feared him enough to where, one, he didn't go for a takedown because he's scared of the knee. Maybe not scared, but just aware. But he was also aware of Santos' power, and I think Santos showed that well, especially with his inside leg kicks and his strikes when Jones got in his reach. So Jones, it's John Jones. I think he fights the next competitor, next title shot. I think Johnny Walker, or I think the fight, like I said previously, Johnny Walker versus Blachowicz could take place, and the winner of that fights Jones. I think that makes sense. Otherwise, Jones, he has that always has the possibility of heavyweight, but I know he said he didn't want to go up to fight TC. Because that's a dangerous fighter for him. But anyways, yeah, I think either Blachowicz or Walker next for Jones. Okay, thank you guys. I love the support. I love UFC. I watch every event. I keep up with it all the time. So if you guys can give me support, I'd love to get out there. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.